My daughter asked me at breakfast, why does mommy sit in the car every night and talk to herself? The spoon slipped from my hand, splashing milk across the table. Claire stopped mid-bite, her eyes flicking from me to our daughter Ava. She smiled too quickly. What do you mean, sweetie? You were in your car again, Ava said. I saw your mouth moving, but no sound came out. You looked sad. Claire reached across the table to smooth Ava's hair. Sometimes grown-ups just need quiet time, honey. Ava nodded and went back to her cereal, humming. I tried to focus on my coffee, but Claire wouldn't meet my eyes. That night, when I heard the garage door creak open around midnight, I stayed quiet. 15 minutes later, I slipped out of bed, padding barefoot down the hall. Through the blinds, I saw her in the driver's seat, engine off, hands gripping the wheel. The dome light glowed faintly, catching tears on her cheeks. She was talking to no one. The next morning, she acted normal, humming while packing Ava's lunch. When she left to drop Ava at school, I checked her phone, something I'd never done before. Her call log was empty. No messages, no missed calls. That night, she said she was going to the store for milk. I followed her. Instead of heading to the supermarket, she drove to the edge of town, to Maple Grove Cemetery. I parked a few rows back, heart pounding, and watched her walk to a small headstone near a tree. She sat down and stayed there for almost an hour. When she came home, I pretended I'd fallen asleep on the couch. The next morning, I asked casually, rough night? She smiled faintly and said she just needed air. That Friday, I called her best friend Melissa. I didn't give details, just said Claire had been quiet lately. Melissa paused and said, maybe it's because next week's the anniversary. Anniversary of what? I asked. You don't know? She said, surprised. Of her brother's accident? I blinked. She doesn't have a brother. Melissa hesitated. She did. He was 15 when it happened. They were in the car together. She never talks about it. That night, I found Claire sitting on the edge of our bed, holding a small photograph. It was old, bent at the corners, a teenage boy with her same eyes. She looked up and said quietly, you followed me, didn't you? I nodded. I just needed to understand. She took a deep breath. His name was Ethan, my little brother. He died because of me. I sat beside her. She told me about the night it happened, how they'd been driving home from a school concert. Rain, a curve, a deer in the road. She swerved, the car hit a tree, and Ethan didn't make it. My parents never blamed me, she said softly, but I did. I still do. When I asked why she'd been sitting in the car, she explained she'd found one of Ethan's old voice recordings while cleaning her mother's attic last month. He used to record silly stories, she said. I've been listening to them in the car so you and Ava wouldn't hear me cry. The next day, Claire asked if we could visit the cemetery together. Ava picked wildflowers from the yard, insisting we bring them. We stood there quietly while Claire placed the flowers at Ethan's grave. She whispered something I couldn't hear, then turned to Ava. He loved stories, she told her. Just like you. That night, I woke to the sound of soft footsteps. Claire wasn't headed to the garage. She stood in Ava's doorway watching her sleep. No more talking to ghosts, she said when she noticed me behind her. I think he's finally heard me. For the first time in weeks, she climbed back into bed and slept until morning. The next day, the garage light stayed off.